So we're getting towards the end of this week's news, but we do have another big story this week, which is the new NBA Playgrounds update. It was announced early in the week. It was alluded to last week. We talked a little bit about it, and then they talked about it coming out sometime in the summer. That turned out to be the very next day, at least for PC and PlayStation 4. Xbox One and Switch still waiting for it as of this recording, I believe.
I think someone said it was on
Xbox.
Xbox.
Switch might be held up, but it definitely hit PC and PS4 the next day. So, which technically was sometime in the summer or winter for us. It was sometime. It seemed to be implying like next month or something, but it came through. It was another another really big substantial update here. Patch 1.3.0, and just looking at the patch notes here, it's added about 30 odd players, including Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, Rick Barry. Tim Duncan's in the game now, Ben.
Cool.
Brandon Jennings, Brandon Knight, Darren Williams, Derek Favors, Gerald Green, Iman Shumpert, Jeff Green, Josh Richardson, Kenneth Fareed, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, one of the best names, one of my favorite names in the league. Chris Middleton, Michael Carter-Williams, Mike Miller, Timofey Mozgov, Trevor Ariza, Tristan Thompson, Tyson Chandler, Bob Pettit, old school, Jerry Lucas, Lenny Wilkins, more old school, J.R. Smith, great shooting form, at least in 2K17. Danny Green, JJ Redick, Wilson Chandler, Alex Len, Dario Saric, and Baron Davis. Speaking of Baron Davis. And some players have been added to second teams, like Chris Paul has been added to the Pelicans. I just actually drew him earlier this evening. Carmelo Anthony for the Nuggets, Al Horford on the Hawks, Ray Allen for the Celtics, Luol Deng for the Bulls, Dennis Rodman for the Bulls, Tim Hardaway for the Warriors, Pippen for the Rockets, Dwight Howard for the Magic, Goran Dragic for the Suns, Shawn Marion for the Suns, which makes a lot more sense than Shawn Marion on the Cavs, I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd on the Phoenix Suns, Grant Hill on the Phoenix Suns, Marcus Aldridge on the Blazers, DeMarcus Cousins on the Kings, which of course I guess he was at some time in development before the trade, Wilt Chamberlain for the San Francisco Warriors, or Golden State Warriors obviously, and Vince Carter on the Raptors, which is a great idea because having that classic Vinsanity on the Raptors. New playgrounders include Iron Eagle and EJ the Mayor Johnson, the commentators for the game, Agent 00, Shake and Bake, and Hip Hop Gamer. So that's expanded that roster of the extra playgrounders team there. There's now a Friends Invitation system, all new online modes, 1 versus 1 unranked matches with the use of the matchmaking algorithm, but players don't risk losing any ranking points or changing the ELO. And the 3-point contest is online, Ben, but it's online only, which is a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I suppose, you'd probably more want to go against your mates in that one anyway. So
yeah, it's. I mean, I did get a game online, and it's kind of an interesting mechanic there. It doesn't have the usual shooting, release. It's just got kind of like an old-fashioned team eater where it's going back and forth, and you've got to stop it in the middle. So it's kind of like the old free throw system, except only in one way, not the two. And yeah, instead of just holding down the shoot and releasing at the optimum time. And it's probably a better way of doing it, because once you figure out the shot timing, otherwise you just pick a Steph Curry or a Larry Bird or something and just win very easily. So it's a pretty good way of doing it. I do think it'd be nice to have an offline version of it as well, because the game really does need some more offline content. There's a short steal and push protection after changing players, so that's just a little bit of a helping out when you're playing online, so that you can't really get cheesily pushed. Push is no longer effective once the shot attempt is made and the player jumped. Difficulty of the tournaments is reduced. The lightning ball can now be blocked, so it's a guaranteed shot as long as it's not blocked. That's a good idea. Experience gain during the tournaments was increased and slightly decreased for online matches. The rebound system was reworked and improved to better reflect the internet game style and make it understandable. Basically, that has amounted to a circle that appears that follows the loose ball, either on a loose ball or a loose ball that's up in the air, or a rebound. The actual mechanics, all the games I've played with it since the patch, the actual rebounding and blocking mechanics I don't feel are better, or actually grabbing loose balls as well. Sometimes you're just standing over it, but your player just stands there and just doesn't grab it. So it's a little bit clunky there, but having that circle definitely adds a little bit more rhyme and reason to the positioning. So that makes sense. So I'm glad that they added that at least. Several issues that caused desyncs during online game sessions have been fixed. Another issue with online match. Prevented play from joining online match after boarding a formal matchmaking session right after it succeeded. height and weight stats to the playgrounds and the metric system been fixed, and an issue that froze the game after winning the Tokyo tournament also fixed. So a few technical fixes as well. So there are a lot of content, some really good fixes, but yeah, I guess if there's anything that I'm a little bit disappointed in is I thought the rebounding might be a little bit better, and the experience gain for offline games is one, especially once you finish the tournament mode, it's still very low. So there's a lot of grinding for packs. That's my big, I guess my main issue is the lack of offline content once you've finished all the what's in there at the moment. But really big patch, and great to see more players being added.
Yeah, for sure. And seeing that there's quite a few like spots left, so hopefully some more awesome players, and that will be added in very soon.
Well, you scroll left and right now when you see the Supersonics and the Playgrounders on either side, and there's lots of other little slots, as you said. How many other teams might they end up adding? That'd be pretty cool, and certainly it seems that they can expand the roster of players for each team seemingly infinitely, because some of them, like the Celtics, have got a lot of players at the moment available to collect. So it remains to be seen how much content they'll end up adding. But I do hope they add some more offline content. But the game is playing pretty well at the moment. I know you and I have had a few games of online, and as we said last week, not a lot of lag, really, except for a couple of glitchy moments.
Yeah. It wasn't game-breaking enough, but yeah, there was a few like little funny ones in that, but when it did happen in that. But yeah, it generally works pretty well,
So, more good news from Saber. Hats off to them again, and they're still taking feedback in the Facebook group, so get involved with that if you're on Facebook and would like to contribute to the game. But yeah, as we said before, great to see Playgrounds continue to be updated, and the update came very quickly, as opposed instead of later this summer, a day later.
Yeah.